I like starting with this. I did this last week. Favorite things from the weekend, kind of off the beaten path radar things that, there were sports all weekend long, playoff hockey, playoff basketball, Major League Baseball, UFL if you're a psycho. Winter Hawks advanced to the Western Conference Finals.
They did.
All of that stuff. I like the little things attached to the weekend.
Sure.
And I wanted to start with Denver and Lakers. And no, Dirt, it wasn't the comeback by Denver. It wasn't the dazzling first half by LeBron and AD. It was branding, marketing and branding to a level that I haven't seen in a long time. Did you catch that Nikola Jokic, he's promoting the new Despicable Me movie?
Yes.
And he arrived at game one dressed like Gru, the evil villain turned good guy that's voiced by Steve Carell. Did you see this?
I did see that.
This is fantastic because I didn't think Nikola Jokic could be bought.
No.
He didn't strike me as somebody that was like, oh, you want me to do movie promo for entrance to game? I'm in. But he is. He was dressed like a villain walking into game one, and I loved it. I loved every second of it.
The NBA desperately needs more of that from him because he does have a funny personality. Like, just wanting to go home and ride horses it's hilarious. He's the MVP of the league. He just won the NBA Finals. They're probably going to win it again. And he just wants to go back to his home country and ride horses. He's an absolute character. And maybe that's just because I watch no NBA basketball during the regular season, so maybe this has been out there. But the Hotels commercial is fantastic, too.
Yes, and he has a teammate in it.
Walking around the pony, and he's like, we can pony acceptable. And he's like, this isn't a horse, it's a pony.
I think he has Peyton Watson in one of his promos. It's like, dude, he's putting Peyton Watson in a commercial.
If offers to feed him an apple or something, takes it away, gives it to the pony. He's got a delightful sense of humor, and I'm glad that Jokic is letting it out. Now, is he actually in the movie?
I don't know. I haven't seen the movie if he's in it, but he has a commercial where he's actually like, they won't leave me alone, and he pulls a curtain down, and it's the little minions.
Sure.
And then he showed up to the game dressed like Gru, and this is great. This guy's leaning into it.
I kind of hope this becomes a normal thing for him where different movie premieres can buy Jokic, and then he has to dress up as said character showing up to the game. Like the next Dune movie, he's got to show up with one of those weird things in his nose.
They do a Goonies revival.
Goonies,
and he's
Hey,
you guys!
Chunk shaking his belly. Come on, do the Jokic shuffle. Give us the Jokic shuffle.
Probably be the only thing about redoing Goonies that anybody would approve of. It's like, well, at least he's on the promo.
That's a good way to start. My first favorite thing of the weekend.
Oh, you're going to participate?
Oh, I'm participating. I got favorite things.
Okay.
Did anybody see the celebration of John Sterling this weekend?
I did, but I will let you explain because I talked about this on my gambling show.
Did you last night?
You're the Yankees. This is what you did?
The New York Yankees. He has been he's been their radio guy for how long? 80 years?
50, 60
since
years.
Babe Ruth was playing. Yeah. This guy's been there forever, right? He falls asleep now during broadcasts, and now he's randomly walking away after 20 games into the season. He said he's done. The Yankees honored him this weekend before one of their games. And the present that they gave him for his retirement was a television. And they literally carried it out in the box. Like they went to Costco, bought an 80-inch TV, and Aaron Boone and somebody else carried it out of the dugout awkwardly, and not wrapped, nothing, here's a box, a television, and this 90-year-old dude's looking at it like, how the hell am I going to get this thing home?
How am I going to mount it?
How am I going to mount this? He can't lift that thing up. He could probably barely lift the remote. The New York Yankees giving one of the most well-known voices in the history of baseball, and a guy who has been associated with their team, an 80-inch television as a retirement present was hilarious.
I thought a pen and a watch was a bad gift to celebrate consistency with an organization.
Yes, give the guy a Rolex or something.
Here's the best part of the story, and I thought you would add this, but this was funny. He lives in an apartment, right? He's in New York.
Yeah, everybody lives in an apartment.
He has 5 televisions already. And now he's got an 80-inch. Where is he mounting that thing?
That thing's not going anywhere. He's throwing that thing on offer up. Anybody want any grandkids want this TV? He's going to sell it down to somebody.
One little note in hockey. I watched a little bit of the hockey this weekend for you.
Let's go.
So it's brought to my attention, Boston Bruin play-by-play man on Nesson is Jack Edwards.
Yes.
I believe he did some ESPN stuff back in the day.
He was a Sports Center anchor for a while.
Sports Center anchor.
Been around a long time.
He's kind of being forced out of the job, not by the team. He's got a talking problem.
Yeah.
He's gotten checked out. There's no diagnosis.
Is he losing his voice? I saw that he was stepping down.
Slurring.
It's delayed.
Yeah.
It's slow.
He's having a connection issue somehow, some way, and so he's going to walk away at the end of the year.
That's terrible.
So when he calls Boston Bruin Maple Leafs games, he's been doing these for years.
They won game 1 this weekend.
5-1. They beat the Maple Leafs. He refers to Toronto when Boston wins as mulch. He just calls them mulch.
Just because it's easier, or is it a joke?
I think it's a joke.
Okay.
It's just, and I just found that Jack Edwards is retired. He's kind of being forced into retirement. He's calling the Maple Leafs mulch whenever the Bees win.
I believe it was him years ago who he had one of my favorite hockey calls of all time, and that was when there was a game around Christmas in Boston, and there was a massive fight that was happening at center ice. And as the guys were just throwing haymakers at each other, knocking each other out, he just started singing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" because it was like 2 days before Christmas. And so these guys are just duking it out center ice. There's blood all over the place, and he's on the call going, "We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a..." Fantastic call. The Maple Leafs are a joke in the playoffs. Mulch, they kind of are mulch this time of year. I'll stick in hockey and go with the one that you did mention, but I want to make sure to give them the shout-out. 8 straight wins for the first time in franchise history. They have swept their way now in the first round, the second round, all the way to the conference finals for the first time since 2015. And they did it with a shutout on Friday night, I believe, was game 4. Kind of lose track of it over the weekend. The Winterhawks are going to the conference finals. They've been on a collision course with Prince George all year. The regular season games were great. And the conference finals start on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Do you call any playoff games?
I did the round 1 games. They couldn't get a crew together. It's a big crew you got to get together. They couldn't find enough bodies for game 2.
Okay.
And I doubt that we'll do them for this series because the games in Portland won't be on the weekend. So they go Friday, Saturday, game 1, game 2, and then I think it's Monday, Tuesday or something like that.
I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday,
or Tuesday,
Friday.
Wednesday. Yeah.
So game 5, I think, would be on a Friday here.
So that would be nice. Maybe you get the Friday night if they go 2-3-2. So maybe that Friday we'll try and do something. But if you can get to a game, they're a ton of fun to watch. They got a chance to win a championship, and they're 4 wins away from the finals.
Watching Miami just get bludgeoned.
That was fun.
I mean, we'll get to some basketball playoff stuff, but boy, that looked like a team that needed Damian Lillard.
Dirty ass foul at the end, by the way, or was there a shove?
I thought there was a little bit of a shove.
Little bit of a push.
It was unnecessary.
But he was kind of.
He was trying to box
shoved.
him out, but he ran into him.
I mean, you're down by 16 with 40 seconds to go, or however much
that
time
was
left in the game.
unnecessary.
Yeah, that was watching Miami lose is always fun.
Now he didn't like shove him or anything like that, but it was unnecessary.
There was a little bit of contact there.
Yes.
I'm going to throw 2 quick golf ones at you. I don't know the golfer's name. I believe she was an amateur
Nelly
playing.
Korda?
Not Nelly Korda. She did win
She
again,
won
though.
5 in a row.
That wasn't the most noteworthy thing from the weekend. Did you see one of the worst/best golf shots of all time?
I was going to put this in, and I couldn't find the name of the golfer, so I didn't
either.
put it in my notes. But I absolutely saw this. This is my dream.
There is I believe an amateur, and she was playing terrible. She was having a rough week, but she hit a ball so far into the water on the 18th hole that it landed on the floating chevron sign and deflected onto over the green.
It bounced off and onto the green.
It legitimately, it missed land by 25, 30 feet. It's one of the worst golf shots I've ever seen. Just an absolute, it was like a just horrible shot. And it bounced off of the sign and then over the green. So that deserves a shout out because we all dream of moments like that. And then how about the 15-year-old Miles Russell this weekend?
I didn't see this one.
So he is he's like a golf phenom, 15-year-old kid.
Freshman. He's the #1 ranked junior golfer in the United States.
He entered a Korn Ferry Tour event this weekend and went berserk. He shot a final round 66.
Did he win?
He did not win,
No.
but he qualified for the next event because he finished in the top 25.
Good for him.
He can't win any money because he's still an amateur, but a 15-year-old doing, he birdied 7 of 8 holes at one point on Sunday. Absolutely. He's 15 years old playing against grown men.
So my first job was when I was 15. I was a dishwasher at the Shiloh Inn restaurant on Airport Way.
Shout out Shiloh Inn. They'll leave the light on for you.
Affordable excellence.
That's right.
That kid is putting in all that work, and golf is still so archaic that they can't let him win any money.
No.
It is the dumbest sport.
It is.
In terms of how they dictate who wins money and if they can win money.
Also, how about them deciding to not move up tee times, knowing that thunderstorms are coming for a signature event in which Scotty Scheffler is going to win
He's up
again.
5.
He already won it.
He already
it's
won.
Over
It's over.
morning.
They already played this morning.
Finished this morning.
Yeah, exactly. They already finished this morning.
Yeah,
That's
he won again.
Terrific start, PGA Tour. Very well planned. You couldn't have moved the tee times up 2 hours because they only had about 7 holes to go. Well done.
I wonder why live is a thing. Here you go. My final thing, and we can maybe get into this later because I actually do have a note. 2 Michigan stories. Did you see the Harbaugh 15-0 M tattoo?
I did. Good for him.
I say this as look, I'm one of these people that I'm going to have a lot of tattoos by the end of my life. I like tattoos. I like the experience. I love having art. I have a Ninja Turtles tattoo.
You
so
do.
I'm well aware that coming from me, how this sounds. That is one of the worst tattoos I've ever seen in my life.
It's a small little M.
If you want to commemorate a season, how about doing the actual Michigan M? That's not the Michigan M.
No, it's like basically hand drawn.
And then just a little M with a 15-0,
Right.
awkwardly, not even centered on your arm.
Nope.
It's one of the worst tattoos, but also very Harbaugh.
Very hard, very dad tattoo of like, I have to get this, and I'm going to get as small as one as humanly possible.
And I'm well aware we're going to talk about this at some point. I have it in my notes. Did you see Michigan State spring game attendance?
I did, buddy. I did.
Look.
Not a lot of enthusiasm there.
We'll get to the Oregon State stuff.
I love that spring games have become a thing now.
It's become a big
this
thing.
is we're living in my dream world, dude. People are paying attention and criticizing spring football or praising spring football in some cases.
I don't know who had a bigger attendance, Michigan State or Oregon State, and I can't believe that. One of those is a Big Ten team.
Yes, who hired a new coach. There should be a lot of enthusiasm. They brought in a program-defining quarterback. Like, it should be going in the right direction.
Yeah.
There was nobody there. Last one for me, R.I.P. Howie Schwab. I love stuff.
Yes, thank you for. Yes, I forgot to put that on my notes. I saw that too. I was really sad. Stumping the Schwab was one of my favorite shows for a couple years.
Who didn't love that show?
Yeah.
It was so fun. And I didn't know 97% of the answers.
No.
He'd win something on who were the two defensemen of the 2001, Detroit Red Wings or whatever. But that show was awesome. And I didn't really know what happened to him after his ESPN days because ESPN turfed him randomly after all that he did.
People
for
were
them.
outraged by that.
They
too.
were pissed, and I think Dickie V was one of the first people I saw the announcement from. R.I.P. Stump the Schwab is an all-time classic on ESPN.
And I just picture him stumping Jesus right now, and Jesus like, I can't remember that one.
Who was the fourth apostle? Go. Nope, wrong.
You get one call. Dad!
Call, phone a friend.